Gang Minecrafters, this is MC Rap. Before I start, I want to give a disclaimer of sorts at the start of this video to describe how these lore theories will be done. I will start off describing the world in which the theory suggests to be true, and then afterwards go through the supporting evidence to support each theoretical point. I find it easier to fluidly describe the world, but I know some things will sound outrageous without explanations, so just know that those will come after. Timestamps for the two sections will be in the description, so please, if you hear something that sounds borderline stupid, please check the explanations at the end. Smile. I will tell you a story giving meaning to the world of Minecraft. Minecraft is more than a simple sandbox game. There are pre-built structures, self-aware societies, creature interactions outside of those with the player. All of these details and more give sense of a reality and history to the world in which this game is played through. I would like to start off with a particular part of Minecraft history. The achievement for summoning and killing the Wither features the words, "the beginning." But the beginning of what, I ask? It does not seem that the Wither could create the things within the world of Minecraft. Instead, I believe that the first creation of the Wither began to set in motion the world we see today, where players are stuck to survive in a world where most creatures despise them. However, I deem it necessary for lots of setup for this moment. I call these times of setup pre-Wither times. In addition, for this two-part episode, I will only describe the Overworld in the pre-Wither times. And with that being said, let's get into it. Long ago, but not the longest ago, at low altitudes of the Overworld, there were villages with houses made of stone. The inhabitants may have been of two kinds. One, perhaps even the leaders, being the players we see today, and the second are the naked pig people who live to be armored by players and have a special ability to give players various items as a form of trade. However, due to their simplistic nature, currency was simply dropped on the ground and products would be dropped in return. These creatures lived close to the low waters of this world. In the higher plateaus, players perhaps interacted with another type of village. A far more sophisticated people than the standing pigs lived here, with an organized economy and studies on the magic of this world. From these heights, one may even be able to see the high-flying, tentacled, and fire-using creatures, named Ghasts by the ground-dwelling inhabitants. Nevertheless, the players truly ruled this world. With their blue clothing, they had abilities that most other creatures did not, both to interact with blocks and items, and to create them to a high degree. Thus, they were able to greatly control and populate the low and highlands. Over time, they grew knowledgeable of the world in which they lived and sought to find the limits of their capabilities. They delved into powers to create stronger tools to better manipulate the world. They sought to create creatures from the blocks they controlled. They even sought to discover other worlds, seeking to bring out the magical properties of materials like gold and lapis lazuli in every possible way. Perhaps as a failed experiment of the players or another intelligent creature, it seems that the remains of deceased players were, in a sense, coming back to life. The mindless undead sought to spread the disease across the population. However, this issue may have been minor and rather maintained. Yet even worse, however, and unknown to this storyteller behind your screen, something else caused the amount of water in the world to increase greatly. The lower villages faced migration and starvation as many of them left on ships to find an even older artifact that legends say could allow a new life under the sea. Searches for it may have been done before, but now finding it was imperative. In failure, the players began new objectives. Using a now forgotten element, they created and collected their valued prismarine blocks and built monuments to protect the gold they had, knowing they were approaching a breakthrough in the magical discoveries with it. Out of the prismarine and sea swimmers, they created mobs to keep the temple secure. Naturally, not every player made it out of the explorations and buildings alive. Those consumed by the sea were free food for the roaming undead who couldn't drown. The survivors moved up to the higher levels of the overworld, staying closer to the villagers we know today, and losing the knowledge of their past lives. A new issue, one of overpopulation, arose here, as both the players and pigmen from the valleys now all live with the rest of the people, the players knew their work with gold was now more important than ever. Using gold to power their creations, the players gained progress on their attempts to travel to other worlds. This should solve their overpopulation issue, they thought. Yet, amidst these developments in the overworld, they were soon approaching. Now then, with part 1 finished, let us look at some of the supporting evidence for such a world. We have a lot to cover. One idea to keep in mind is that as a story writer and game maker myself, I can attest to the idea of building worlds and stories retrospectively. The entire story of Minecraft may not have been secured at launch, but some may have been added to fill the gaps from the past. The story of the lower villages appears rather obvious to me. Many players on Minecraft know about the underwater ruins. They were of course made of stone. As for the inhabitants, it was stated that pigmen were going to be the original inhabitants of villages, but they were replaced by villagers. It is also stated that trading was meant to be done by dropping an item on the ground and the receiver would throw an item back. Putting these two original ideas for villages together, and it would be quite similar to what bartering is in the Nether now. I believe this concept is necessary to explain the existence of piglins, which will be covered in the next episode. As for the higher villages, it is implied that villagers in the recent Illagers once lived together in peace, since the Illagers had to be kicked out for their unspeakable activities. Between the both of them, they utilized magic in a variety of ways. Ghasts are almost certainly inhabitants of the Overworld, given the description of the achievement or advancement Uneasy Alliance, which states that you must rescue a Ghast from the Nether, meaning it doesn't want to be there, and bring it home to the Nether, to the Overworld. It's home. Zombies must exist at this point in time due to the existence of the drowned. Given that they don't spawn as a result of the player dying underwater, but instead when a zombie stays underwater for too long, it shows that the original drowned that inhabit the ruins and shipwrecks were zombified and underwater. Game theory covers these people using the ships to find the heart of the sea and creating guardians pretty well in their theory videos, so I do recommend those specifically. But in short, the ships, which of course have drowned, contain treasure maps leading to the heart of the seas. Secondly, the guardian's skin looks like cracked prismarine, and even the mob bestiary describes it similarly. In addition, they are the only fish-like creature that does not die out of water. They do bounce around in search of it, but will live indefinitely. Finally, the usage of gold for the purpose of finding other worlds will be covered in the next episode. With that being said, Minecrafters, thank you for coming to the beginning of this lore. I can't wait to delve far deeper into it, and I hope that the evidence that I give supports my theories well. If you do not think so, please give me some constructive criticism. I enjoy theory crafting. All said and done, don't be a Fortnite fool, Heights hypocrite, or Roblox reject. Always be an amazing Minecraft master. Stay blocky.